Everyone, thank you so much for attending. This will be our last talk of the day. It is my honor to introduce Nykolas Muldrow, a cybersecurity solutions architect at the U.S. Air Force Cybersecurity. As a instructor, he is the CEO of CI Solutions Global Incorporated with over 15 years of experience in federal contracting and critical infrastructure defense. He has also worked at the intersection of national security compliance and leadership development. Today, he will be sharing a deeply personal talk titled From Wake Island to War Room, a Black Cyber Leader's Path to Purpose. In this session, he will recount his journey through isolated assignments like Wake Island and Guantanamo Bay and reflect on how identity, resilience, and service has shaped his leadership in cybersecurity. This is a powerful exploration of purpose in the highest stakes environments. Please join me in welcoming Nykolas Muldrow.
Okay, since today is the last talk of the day, I'm going to need audience participation. Okay, because we're going to go out with a bang after this. I know everybody's going to happy hour, so I'm going to need some response, some engagement, so we're going to get started, okay? First, I like to apologize for earlier. If you were here earlier, whenever I say Control D, I want everybody to yell chaos for me, okay? So, Control D. Nah, that was weak. Are y'all tired? Y'all at DEFCON, y'all can't be tired. We still got a whole nother day. So when I say Control D, we're gonna say what? That was a little better, but okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Like you said, my name is Nykolas Muldrow, and I am a solutions architect. I come up with solutions for the federal government, for Department of Defense, DOE, just several different departments in general. I'm also a cyber operations instructor for the Air Force. And with that, I'm teaching airmen, civilians, and contractors how to secure or defend critical infrastructure. Recently, I did start my own company, CI Solutions. And with that, we do focus more on compliance, leadership development, mission assurance, and those type of things. With that, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in and start telling you about my story and how I got to where I am now. Hold questions to the end for me. Yeah. SuperNicker and some other networks. Okay. So with that, I did start out in Wake Island. If anybody knows where Wake Island is, it's in the middle of the Pacific, pretty much. It's an isolated, geographically separated location. It's in. So in order to get there, you actually have to get there by military plane. There's no way to get there on commercial airlines. And then you have to fly to Honolulu. And then it's an additional 5-hour flight to the middle Pacific to actually get to Wake. Wake is one of those strategic military bases that we use to go to Asia and things of that nature. I actually started out there as a janitor. I was cleaning toilets. And the thing that got my attention is there was a vacancy that they hadn't filled for months. And it was in the ComSec department. Before I actually got to Wake Island, I studied network engineering. I did a couple of IT certs, that kind of thing. So I knew I could step up in that position, but they didn't see me that way. They saw me as a janitor because I had to interview for that position 3 times. I went to 3 different managers, interviewed 3 times before they even gave me a chance. And with that, being out on Wake, you see a lot of things, and because it's so remote, nothing ever goes as it seems. That's more pictures of Wake Island. we had a saying that everything was wakish, which means if it was going to go wrong, it went wrong. And with that, there was a lot of chaos, a lot of disorder, a lot of things going on. You have planes coming that are diverting to the island because of the fact that bad weather, they had engine problems or mechanical problems. Sometimes we had chaotic turnover, we had night missions, things of that nature. So there's a lot of things going on this small island. And from Wakish, I came up with Control the Chaos. Control the Chaos is not about having power, it's actually controlling your environment through intentional actions. That's control. Having that control and being able to get through a chaotic situation was something that I came up with my motto. And it's not the regular control, it's CRTL, like control alt delete. I'm an IT person, cybersecurity. It goes. Hey, it worked. So the first thing is you have to control your narrative. And I don't mean the story you're telling leadership or whoever you're working for. You have to control your environment. You have to know what's in your own backyard. You have to know the tools that you're using, the people who are all involved, what stakeholders you need to communicate with, and being able to know what target threat actors are actually going to come after. That is the control your narrative. And with that, there's a lot of different things going on. One instance I can tell you is when I got out there were a lot of Thai nationals. There were hardly any U.S. citizens, and these Thai nationals been out there for like 30 years, some of them. I mean, and because they were all Thai nationals and they couldn't get U.S. citizens, the main reason was the pay. So if anybody's been to Thailand, you know that the dollar is 33 baht. So these Thai nationals are on the island sending money back home. They're making bank. But it's not enough. It wasn't enough money for U.S. citizens to come out there. One of the things that I did when I got there is I was there. I wasn't going to leave. I was enjoying where I was. You see the beautiful island. No way. I started a union on the island, on the defense base. I talked with the IBEW. We got a CBA in place. And this is something that it really didn't take a lot of effort because the union actually helped me along, but there was nobody else stepping up to do it. So I just looked in the mirror and said, I can do this. I can read documents. I know what's fair. I know what we should get paid. And I did it. The main thing is there are a lot of things that we see in our environments that we know we can make better, but we feel like somebody else is going to do it. I don't have to do it. And that's kind of one of the things that we need to get away from. Everyone, if you see something that can improve a workplace, an environment, anything, you should go ahead and do it. Now, how many of you have been in a situation where you knew something was wrong with your environment? Like you knew there was a weakness that a threat actor could exploit. Anybody been in that situation? And you told your senior leadership, and for whatever reason, they didn't do anything. We've all been there. One of the things that you have to do is the R, which is being resilient and through pressure, through anything, just being resilient, period. We all work in cybersecurity, and we know that there is a continuous learning that we have to do. Our environment is forever changing. There are things coming up that we've probably never seen at this conference that we just learned about. Those type of things we have to go back to our organizations and pretty much educate them on what we learned. One of the things that you should be resilient about is one of the major challenges that being out on that island was the internet connection. We actually had a satellite internet. So we're talking about 4 megs up, 4 megs down type of satellite. During this process, I wanted to grow. And with growth, it isn't given to you. It's something that you got to earn. So for me, what I did was I stayed up in the middle of the night and I diverted bandwidth to my laptop so that I could go to school while I was out on the island. I can go and get my CompTIA certs. I can do everything because I diverted it. But my challenge and my resilience and being able to get up at night and do those things and then turn around and do my day shift too, that was something that I was determined to do. And we have to keep doing those type of things, keep learning, keep going forward in order to improve ourselves, our team, our organization. One of the things is we don't continue to learn, we will get left behind. Someone else will come up who is in their labs, they're experimenting with flippers, they're building things, they're learning new codes, they're doing all these new things, and you're stuck. And we definitely don't want to be stuck. We want to keep going. So the T is trust yourself and your capabilities. Now, I know by a show of hands who've had imposter syndrome. That should be everybody. You've been in a situation where you felt like this was not, I don't think I can do this. But if you put in the hours, you put in the work, you did the things you were supposed to do, you will be, you just have to trust yourself. One thing I've learned over my years is that your mindset, your mental mindset is something that's either going to make you or break you. If you come into your environment positive, confident, I had to do a theme song. I'm more of an introvert. That is the reason for my theme song, is so that I can mentally get where I needed to be able to get up here and give you a speech. So trust yourself, trust your capabilities, trust what you bring to the table. The other thing is, do not wait for someone to invite you to the table. My advice for you is build your own table. Bolt it down to the floor. But the last thing is make room for other people and invite them to your table. We can't gatekeep on opportunities, knowledge. We will stagnate innovation, and we'll lose momentum. So with that, one of the last things is be a leader that shows up. And when I say leader, it doesn't mean that you have a fancy title. It doesn't mean that you even have to have a department or lead or anything like that. When I say lead, be a leader that shows up, be sure that you're there, you're present, you're engaged, you're communicating, you're getting your point across. You're stepping up and you're taking on new challenges. Those are some of the things that come with being that leader, showing up every day, being prepared, knowing what you have in your environment and being able to do that. With that, when you get to that point, your time does become a weapon. And when you're in that mode and you're focused and you're dedicated to what you're doing, and you're not distracted, because I get distracted, um, then your time becomes a weapon. You're focused. You're tunneled in. I told someone earlier today, and I'm editing my speech at this point because it's relevant. Um, is when I came in here earlier, all I saw was Sydney. I didn't even see the people in the room. I was so focused on trying to get this done that that's all I saw. Sometimes we need that laser focus. And when we're in that laser focus and we're spending time, that's the time that we are creative, we're innovative, we come up with the next best thing. Um, one every time something happens, whether it's in your life, my life, if we're trying to be successful, we get on ourselves when we don't reach that big goal. And one of the ways to get around that, I personally use the SMART goals. I define my goals to the point where they are achievable. I take all those small wins with those SMART goals to achieve an even bigger goal. Whether it was I need to study for my Sec Plus. You take smaller chapters, smaller terms, and you build up that knowledge to where you have the knowledge you need to pass the test. Is that simple? And we tend to, well, I tend to, let me take that back. I tend to overthink a lot. And when I say that is I put a lot of pressure on myself to do things when I don't meet them. And I forget that I have a team. My team shows up for me. Whether it was someone taking me under their wing to show me the ropes on a job, to someone showing me a technique in cybersecurity or hacking, or someone just being there to put me in a room that I'm not in. I didn't do all this alone. I didn't come where I am alone. We shouldn't do anything alone. Um, it takes a village for us to get where we want to go. So with that, um, the framework is simple. It's doing those things as in taking control of your environment, knowing your backyard, knowing the things you have to do. It's also being resilient when you're under pressure, when there's a deadline, a mission, or something that you have to accomplish. Just being resilient to get through that. Or if you have a life goal and you're setting yourself up for the next phase of your life, stay on it. A lot of people give up at that cusp of when they're finna break through. Also, when the L for being a leader, showing up, knowing your stuff, being prepared, not over talking senior leadership or stakeholders, because not all your leadership or stakeholders are going to be tech people. Being able to communicate with them and get to their level, that's leadership. That's being able to lead, whether it's a project, a team, or an organization. Having communication, collaborative with people that you don't normally speak the same language with, that's being a leader. That's being strategic. And I say all of this because it's important for me, and my mission, my goal is to talk to other individuals and show them that cybersecurity, hacking, it's wide open. It's something that I am very passionate about and I want to share with the next person. And I want to see more faces like us in leadership roles. I don't want to be the only one that looks like me in the room. So I'm up here talking to you, just hopefully dropping some gems and letting you know that networking, being a team, getting to know someone else, and you guys being able to collaborate to get to that in that next room or sit at that next table or even start your own the next company that you guys want to be innovative with. I'm mostly an introvert, and I know that's one of the things that's hard for me. But I'm trying to leave a legacy. I'm trying to leave something back for the next generation. I'm trying to make things look different in boardrooms and city government and places where we make a bigger impact. We are part of that innovation, and if our voices are not in those rooms, in those environments, we're lacking on some of the things that could come out. Um, and with that, I just want you to know master the mental game, use your network. Those are some of the key things that will get you to that next step. All right. I do appreciate everybody. That was it. I made it real short and simple for you. I know this is the last one of the day. I do appreciate all of you coming out. I will take questions if anybody has a question. So one of the things how I encourage myself, like I said, I create SMART goals. So I take small bites out of something that I'm trying to achieve. With those small wins, every time I do something, it's like, yeah, I got this. I got that gratification from that small win to help me keep going. So mastering your mental game is I I've learned that thinking negative thoughts bring negative things, thinking positive thoughts bring positive things. Um, and if I'm having a bad day or I'm down, I know what can get me motivated to get me back in that positive space. Whether it is I need to go take a walk and get some vitamin D from the sun, or I need to go put some music on to hype me up real quick because I'm tired. It just depends on what you are comfortable with to that you know about yourself to get you back to where you need to be. Um, because early in my career, I've worked with people who are very negative, who they will bring down teams, environment, things like that. You definitely don't want to be that person in any organization. So I say, take five. Check yourself. Like, I know I'm not right. Okay. So one of the exercises I use when communications, whether it's for a job interview or for you said job interview, so we'll use that one. One, you prepare. If you look at the organization, you do kind of do your homework. And then we have this wonderful thing called AI and ChatGPT. Go ask it, what are some interview questions for this position? Record yourself answering those questions. Do one with the sound on, because you want to look at your body language, because your body language tells the story. Do one with the sound off. Yeah, sound on, sound off. And then look at one as a whole. And you want to take breaks in between doing that so that you can reflect on what you saw, heard, or what you're doing. Um, if it's not a technical thing and it's more confidence in being able to communicate, that's an exercise that you could do. No, the boardroom is totally different. And you're probably trying to ask, how do you be your authentic ethic self in those type of environments? And it's simple. You know what you bring in that room. You know your knowledge and you know what you have to present. If the best way for you to present that information is for you to be your authentic self, then that's what you need to do. But in the back of the head, you do need to be mindful that, hey, I'm not at home, I'm not with my homies, and just have that awareness of where you are. Well, yeah, and it's more about what are you trying to do. I'm coming in this room to try to motivate you, and I know it's the end of the day, and we I needed some energy at the beginning of the speech. So in the boardroom, you don't want that same type of energy. You want to be strategic and intelligent and being able to communicate in that environment. And so it wouldn't be as appropriate because you're not doing the same, you don't have the same goal. Yeah. That's basically all it is. You don't have that same goal. Any more questions before we close out for the day? All right, thank you guys.